sometimes the capitalist class just adds insult to injury, and sometimes they just do it directly right in your face. Take the case of this recent post by McDonald's. They decided that since their employees are of such low income, they need a budget to help them figure out how they're going to live. I mean, that's pretty much an admission on their part that they pay people so low that an extremely strict budget needs to be given to them. Now, they did this in conjunction with Visa for whatever reason. There's no specification. It's just specifying why that happened. No, it's a mock budget for their employees. Now, that mock budget is actually very telling. The first thing it says is second job. McDonald's is literally telling you. Now, when you calculate it, it's actually a full-time job and then another job. It's absolutely astounding. McDonald's is literally telling their full-time employees, you literally don't make enough to survive. By telling them, even when the budget goes by a full-time pay, they're telling you to get another job. I mean, that's absolutely astounding. This adds up on a minimum wage, say like an average of $7.25 an hour, to 74 hours a week of work. Personally, I used to work 60 to 72 hours a week. A couple of times I worked 72 hours a week, which here is actually not even legal. But, I digress, a human being working 74 hours a week to actually match the budget that McDonald's gives out to his own employees, it's absolutely astounding. Now, it's interesting that when you actually look at this budget, there's nothing there for childcare, nothing for heating, nothing for food, nothing for clothes, nothing for gas for a car, not even for bus tickets. Now, most of us can't afford a car and we have to take some form of public transportation. That's literally not even factored into the budget. It's astounding when you look at it. And like $20 for insurance? I mean, I'm Canadian. I have universal health care. So, you know, this doesn't mean anything to me. But $20 for insurance? I'm fairly certain that the average is $250 a month for a single person. Never mind a parent. Or even worse, a single parent. And it concludes with this extremely insulting statement. You can have almost anything you want as long as you plan ahead and save for it. How? The budget literally doesn't even include food. It doesn't even include gas for you to get to work or clothes to wear. I mean, it's absolutely astounding what they've put together to... This budget literally tells you they don't even think you need to pay for these things. It's just nuts. Now, Think Progress contacted the company and asked for a comment on this. In an effort to provide free, comprehensive money management tools, McDonald's first used the Wealth Watchers International Budgeting Journal when this financial literacy program launched in 2008. As a part of this program, several resources were deployed, including a sample budget guide, an instructional video, and web resource center that had additional tools and information. The samples on this site are generic examples and are intended to help provide a general outline of what an individual budget may look like. Well, apparently a general outline of what an individual budget would look like doesn't include food. Apparently, generally, people don't eat food. It boggles the mind. When we sit down, we actually think about this. They're actually saying they think you don't eat food. My God, it's remarkable how much they're just giving you a middle finger right in the face over this. And the minimum wage is way too low. In fact, showing the old studies that if minimum wage had kept up with inflation, it would be $21.72 an hour. And you see, once again, we see exactly what Marx predicted would happen. The gap between despite an increase in productivity, and there is a tremendous increase in productivity, the gap between what the workers keep and what the boss keeps drastically went in opposite directions. They did not keep up with each other. Now, a lot of people like to strawman Marx and say, this particularly libertarians like this, and say that Marx said wages would never increase. That was actually Lassalle's law of iron wages. It's not Marx. In fact, Marx pretty much outright called that idea stupid. Now, none of this matches up with reality, given the missing costs from the budget. And this is the insanity of the market. This is the inhumanity of the market. The going wage literally does not correspond with what it costs to survive. Often we hear a very conservative argument that says, well, people just don't want to do enough to pay for what they survive. Yet these people are trying to survive on this. Oh, if you just cut out the frills, it will still be enough. Even if we took some of the things like the cable out of the budget, that still wouldn't be enough to buy food. I mean, this is for a single person. I mean, imagine doing this if you were a single parent. It would be impossible. It's a literal impossibility to do. And then to tax single parents for going on welfare. The system literally does not work. It does not get the job done. The income does not match the cost of living. Although, ironically, or appropriately enough, depending on how you look at it, this is exactly what libertarians say will happen. That the market will even all of these things out, and that they'll magically just all balance, and then when it doesn't, they just blame the government. It's insane. This is the kind of thing that can only be fixed through efficient state planning. When economies can be planned, these things can be ironed out. A ton of the countries that we see today were actually planned when people don't even know it, like South Korea. They like to scream and cry about how the state planning anything is terrible and it's inefficient, it doesn't work. Yet the entire South Korean economy is planned. It has been planned since practically the Korean War. It just shows you, once again, capitalism, the market does not work. It does not correspond to what it costs to actually keep somebody alive. And when it doesn't, just leave it out of the budget.